There's a lot of melting in this movie. Haha. So Manny, Diego, and Sid live in this valley surrounded by ice walls. It's a lot less snowy than the last movie, and all the other Ice Age animals are treating it like a water park. It looks fun, but it's not all sunshine and roses. Some jerk animal tells Manny he might be the last mammoth alive, and Manny gets very worried about that. Sid feels that nobody respects him, so he's trying to run a camp for the kid animals, but all the kid animals bully him. Also, there's this aardvark guy named Fast Tony who was always trying to sell bogus stuff to the other animals, like the idea that the ice is going to melt and the world will end. Fast Tony is what we call a huckster. Sid is upset that nobody respects him, so he goes to the top of the valley to do a super dangerous slide down and try to look cool. Manny and Sid go up there to stop him, and they see that the ice actually is melting. Fast Tony was kind of right about that part. So Manny and the boys sound the alarm, but no one believes them until the melting starts and everyone runs away. There's a couple of evil fish that start to melt from the ice, and they look dangerous. One is a big stout fish, and one is a long skinny fish. Manny and the boys hear from this weird vulture that they've got to go across the valley and find a boat at the end to survive the flood that's going to happen. So they start walking around and they find some new animals to hang out with. First, there are two annoying possums named Crash and Eddie who give Diego and Sid a really hard time, and then there's Ellie, a mammoth who thinks she's a possum for some reason. Manny struggles with this big time since he's thinking she's the only lady mammoth left in the world, and he does everything wrong. He gets frustrated, he says they should become boyfriend-girlfriend because they're obligated to have kids, and he even says she overreacted when she gets mad at him for that. I think Manny's mistakes are forgivable, but he is definitely being a knucklehead in this movie. My boy Manny needs to remember how he got his late honey bunny lady mammoth to like him back in the day. He probably made some small talk, got to know her, made some light jokes, and did some nice things to show her that he cares. Not like in this movie where he tells Ellie he thinks she's attractive because she has a big butt, which is 100% obviously a not for kids thing to say. Eventually, Manny and Ellie drop the argument after saving themselves and their friends from this crazy rock cliff Jenga situation. They start to focus on just being friends and getting along, which seems like a better way to go for now. Also, Ellie realizes that yes, she is a mammoth, and no, she is not a possum. That seems healthy. Meanwhile, Scrat has been trying to get an acorn again. He ends up fighting with this vulture kid that is way bigger than him, and he gets his butt kicked a few times, and it's pretty funny. So Manny and the boys and Ellie's fam get to the place where the boat is, but there's a big scary field of geysers in the way. Manny and the boys argue with Ellie and her fam about whether or not they should go through it since it looks scary. Manny and the boys go forward, while Ellie and the annoying possums turn around. Manny and the boys get through the geysers, but the whole place starts to flood before they get to the boat, while Ellie and the annoying possums get stuck in a cave. Then everyone starts working together. The annoying possums tell Manny that Ellie's stuck in a cave, so he goes to help while dodging the evil fish since of course they decided to show up now. There's a lot of peril and it's not looking good for a minute, but it turns out fine because Scrat is obsessed with acorns. You're probably thinking, wait, what does Scrat being obsessed with acorns have to do with anything? I was wondering the same thing for most of the movie. But Scrat really likes to slam acorns into the ice for whatever reason, so when he did that at this time, he accidentally caused a huge crack in the glacier that busted the ice open and made a path for the water to go through. So instead of a flood, the water went down and saved everybody. Hooray for Scrat! Then, as everything calms down, all of a sudden some new animals show up and everyone see there's a bunch of woolly mammoths. Diego and Sid say, okay, bye, Manny. It's been fun. We love you, buddy. But Manny is a loyal dude, and it turns out Ellie is a loyal dudette, and they all stick together as one big happy family with two annoying possums in tow. Also, there's a nice bit where Manny tries to act like a possum to show Ellie he's okay with her being a little different than most mammoths. Then there's a pretty funny part at the end, too. It seems that Scrat is dead, and he wakes up in the clouds. He finds a big gate. It opens, and Scrat sees a bunch of acorns behind it. Scrat is in acorn heaven. This tells you a lot about Scrat, since a lot of people think about heaven as having all their favorite people they miss and being a really beautiful place with endless good possibilities. while all Scrat wants is a bunch of acorns in the clouds. Makes you think. Eventually, Scrat sees in the distance there's a giant acorn, the biggest acorn ever. He tries to get it and then gets yanked back to Earth, and Sid says, "Hey there, saved your life." And Scrat is really mad since he was about to get his dream acorn. This movie has a nice theme about different types of animals working together, kind of like in the first one, and about being understanding about someone who's a little weird. But there's also that one joke part about Ellie's butt that is super borderline, so this movie is just okay for kids.